Global headlines have painted a narrow picture of India. Foreign newspapers often focus on overcrowded cities, poverty, or stories of crisis. Television reports show images of slums, traffic jams, and struggles, reinforcing the idea that India is a nation weighed down by its problems. And so, when travelers arrive, they step onto Indian soil with those very images etched in their minds. They expect disorder. They expect decay. They expect a country trapped in its past. But within hours, those expectations begin to crumble. What they see instead is something no news headline can ever fully capture: a civilization alive with rhythm, innovation, and energy. A nation where chaos carries hidden order and where centuries of tradition walk hand in hand with cutting-edge progress. The real story of India is not one of decline, but of reinvention. Not of weakness, but of resilience. Not of stagnation, but of a future being written in real time. So let's ask the question the headlines never do. What happens when the stereotypes fall apart and India reveals its truth? India is not one uniform entity. It is a mosaic of worlds stitched together where every 100 kilometers feels like crossing an international border. Languages shift, cuisines transform, clothing changes, and traditions reinvent themselves. The country sees health systems attracting patients from distant lands, eco-friendly policies studied by scientists worldwide, and landscapes so pristine they resemble untouched nature reserves. In the Indian state, Kerala, foreigners encounter literacy rates that rival the best in Europe. Only a short flight away in Rajasthan, they enter a desert kingdom where centuries-old water conservation systems continue to puzzle modern engineers. Fortresses rise out of the sands, dwarfing European castles. Artisans dedicate lifetimes to mastering crafts so intricate that they test the patience of generations. In Punjab, farmers cultivate enough wheat to feed entire populations, blending ancient wisdom with cutting-edge machinery. Tradition and technology dance together, proving that progress does not require the death of heritage. And through every region, food tells its own story. Foreigners who thought they understood spice suddenly realize they knew nothing at all. A single curry might weave together 30 different spices, layered with surgical precision, creating flavors that unfold like chapters in a book. Grandmothers cooking without scales or written recipes create dishes that rival the inventions of Michelin-starred chefs. What to outsiders might seem ordinary, a breakfast of dosa, idli, or sambar, reveals a level of variety and nutritional sophistication that many entire nations cannot match. But food and culture are only the beginning. Behind these discoveries lies a deeper truth. India is not just changing itself, it is transforming the world. Over 40% of generic medicines consumed in the United States originate in India. The pills found in cabinets across the globe, life-saving and affordable, often trace their journey back to Hyderabad or Bangalore. India has quietly become the pharmacy of the planet. Bangalore itself shocks many visitors. They arrive expecting clogged streets and decaying infrastructure. What they witness instead is a technological powerhouse rivaling Silicon Valley. Here, Indian engineers and entrepreneurs lead global innovation in artificial intelligence, clean energy, and space exploration. Consider this. When India launched its Mars orbiter mission, it achieved what only a handful of nations had ever done. And it did so on its very first attempt. The entire mission cost less than the budget of some Hollywood films. What seemed impossible to many became reality in India, proving that ingenuity can overcome scarcity. Foreigners who step into India's universities discover a landscape of innovation designed not for luxury, but for necessity. Students create drones affordable enough for small farmers, medical devices that save lives in villages far from hospitals, and water purification systems that operate without electricity. Doctors perform remote surgeries guided by satellite connections, ensuring patients in distant rural areas receive expert care. Telemedicine, often considered futuristic in developed countries, is already part of India's everyday reality. And then there is the digital revolution. While much of the world stumbled slowly from cash to card to digital payments, India leapt directly into the future. Today, its unified payments interface handles billions of transactions every month, linking every single person to a financial system more advanced than many in the West. A visitor watching a fruit seller scan a QR code or a farmer receive subsidies directly through biometric verification often pauses in disbelief. How did a country once seen as lagging behind leap so far ahead? While challenges remain in government schools, a parallel revolution in private education has created a generation prepared to compete on global stages. In small towns, foreigners find science labs more advanced than some universities in the West. Parents invest enormous proportions of their income into education, driven by the belief that knowledge is the most valuable inheritance they can give. A village woman creates a microfinance network supporting thousands of families. A teenager designs an app predicting crop prices for farmers. A retired engineer pioneers waste management systems that cities abroad come to study. In India, innovation is alive in villages, streets, and homes. Foreigners who stay long enough witness another phenomenon, infrastructure projects of unimaginable scale. The world's largest renewable energy park, spread over an area bigger than Singapore, is being built in Gujarat. High-speed trains promise to link distant cities in hours rather than days. Smart cities emerge with sustainability at their core. Even the metro systems astonish. Delhi's network is not just punctual and clean, it is profitable, a rarity in the world of public transportation. And yet, India's influence is not limited to steel, cement, and science. Its cultural reach has quietly transformed the world. Yoga, meditation, and Ayurveda have become pillars of global wellness, practiced in cities from New York to Tokyo. Indian cinema produces more films than Hollywood, with stories and actors finding audiences across continents. Textiles handwoven in Indian villages appear on fashion runways in Paris. Spices once carried on ancient trade routes continue to shape global cuisine, now studied by world-renowned chefs. Perhaps the most decisive factor is India's people. More than half of its population is under 25. Young, educated, digitally connected, and brimming with ambition, they form the largest pool of human potential on Earth. They are not content to consume technology. They design it. They are not satisfied with imported models of development. They create their own. In Mumbai, foreigners often walk into one of the world's densest neighborhoods, expecting despair. But what they stumble upon is just unbelievable. A leather craftsman, without formal business training or polished English, manages global supply chains that stretch across continents. His workshop is the size of a bedroom, yet luxury brands in Europe and America showcase the goods he produces. His smartphone becomes his boardroom. His instinct becomes his business plan. The district generates more than $650 million every year, more than the economies of some entire nations. And remarkably, no central blueprint, no grand plan from policymakers designed it. It evolved naturally, built by countless small hands that learn to adapt, cooperate, and compete in a way that astonishes even seasoned economists. Foreign visitors look at this and wonder, how does so much precision emerge out of what looks like pure chaos? Yet foreigners quickly notice something unusual. For every challenge, there seems to be a response. Traffic jams exist, but so does the world's most ambitious highway construction program. Water scarcity threatens villages, but it fuels innovations in conservation. Power shortages spark the growth of renewable energy. In India, problems and solutions appear side by side, woven into the same fabric. What seems impossible elsewhere becomes inevitable here. This resilience is not only material, it is spiritual. CEOs meditate before meetings. Engineers treat their work as service. Wisdom that has guided India for millennia continues to shape its modern ambitions. By the end of their journey, many foreigners admit that India defied every category they tried to place it in. It is not merely a developing country catching up with others. It is building its own model. It is not choosing between the past and the future. It carries both confidently into the present. What began as confusion becomes clarity. Diversity is not India's weakness. It is its strength.